Kant then says, "It is on this path, the only one left, that I have set forth, and I flatter myself that in following it, I have succeeded in removing all those errors that have so far put reason into dissension with itself in its non-experiential use." So basically, this critique of pure reason, this move of determining, investigating the possibility and the possibility of metaphysics, its extent, its boundaries, its sources, right? This task, right, according to Kant, is the only one left. It is the only thing in metaphysics that is worth doing. Why? Because all other tasks of metaphysics, traditionally conceived so far, led to antinomies. Okay, so they led to conflicts in positions that are both which are both traceable to a common error. And the common error, according to Kant, is the use of the faculty of pure reason in a way that is ungrounded by experience. So it is this task of critiquing metaphysics that Kant sets forth. And according to him, by doing that, he has succeeded in removing all of those errors, right? Those errors, those conflicts that have so far put reason into dissension with itself in its non-experiential use. So that's a bold claim, right? But it's justified if you were able to trace the root error, right? The root cause of all dissensions, then of course you have solved all those dissensions. You have dissolved them, right? So that's what Kant was trying to do. He then says, "I have not avoided reason's questions by pleading the incapacity of human reason as an excuse. Rather, I have completely specified these questions according to principles, and after discovering the point where reason has misunderstood itself, I have resolved them to reason's full satisfaction." So, in other words, this move of Kant of trying to dissolve, right, to dissolve those metaphysical conflicts, like for example, proofs for the eternity of the world and for a finitude of the past. Okay, so those metaphysical positions conflict, but both are supported by metaphysical argumentation. According to Kant, once you have critiqued the common error of those positions, of those contradictory positions, then you have dissolved them. He says, he's not just using the limitedness of human reason as an excuse. Instead, he using intellectual rigor, right, trace the common error of those conflicts and then dissolve that common error, that misunderstanding, right? And thereby, upon doing that, dissolve the need for contradiction, right? He says, "To be sure, the answer to these questions has not turned out as dogmatically enthusiastic lust for knowledge might have expected." So, the kind of move that he does is not dogmatic. It does not provide the feeling of certitude that dogmatists want. But according to him, for the latter could not be satisfied except through magical powers in which I am not an expert. So according to him, he's mocking dogmatists, right? He says only magic could give you that level of certitude, meaning a reasonable man should not demand that level of certitude. It's irrational. Why? Because he says, "Yet this was also not the intent of a reason's natural vocation. And the duty of philosophy was to abolish the semblance arising from misinterpretation, even if many prized and beloved delusions have to be destroyed in the process." Okay, so why demand that absolute feeling of certitude when in the first place that's not part of the vocation of reason, right? He says, "In this business, I have made comprehensiveness my chief aim in view, and I make bold to say that there cannot be a single metaphysical problem that has not been solved here, or at least to the solution of which the key has not been provided." So this critique of metaphysics is a critique of the source of metaphysics, right? The common error being the non-experiential use of reason. Upon locating this, Kant has sufficiently argued for a comprehensive critique of metaphysics in general. All those problems, all those errors are solved because the principle upon which they arise has already been found. He says, "In fact, your reason is such a perfect unity that if its principle were sufficient for even a single one of the questions that are set for it by its own nature, then this principle might as well be discarded, because then it would not be up to answering any of the other questions with complete reliability." So basically, this is the last point of this paragraph. Basically, Kant is saying that there's a interlocking web of ideas, right, that arise from this common misinterpretation uh, due to the spontaneity of the human mind, right? There's an interlocking web of ideas that results from that. And once you have located, right, it's Achilles heel, i.e., it's an use of the faculty of reason in its non-experiential way, then of course, you have resolved all of those problems. And by its very nature, if you cannot solve one area, right, in the use of the faculty of reason in its non-experiential use, then automatically you have discarded the capacity of reason in general, right? That's according to Kant. That's a bold claim, but he says, thankfully, I was able to resolve that due to my critique of metaphysics. So how does he do that? Let's see in the next paragraph.